previously on Panthers Uncaged.
Well, he's stayed here. He's made sacrifices. He's another guy that works extremely hard. He was disappointed with his season up to now. I think he's something to prove, and that's a good thing. So I expect him to be at his top of his game, and when he's at the top of his game, you have a chance to win. So we're counting on him, we're relying on him, and we expect big things from him.
Yeah, when I watch Bob, I see his work ethic off the ice and his determination in practice. So I've noticed that and taken some of that and put it into my routine.
Driedger, what a story he is. He's very focused, and he knows what it takes to, step in there and win for us. It's not easy, coming in as a backup goalie and trying to win for us. So he's done a great job for us, and it's the same thing, him and Bobrovsky. It doesn't matter who's in net. I think we all feel great who's ever playing goalie for us.
No one by himself can win any game or any series. So it's the group effort, and we have to pull the rope at the same direction.
It was the news the Florida Panthers have been waiting almost 4 months for. After long negotiations, the NHL and NHLPA have come to terms on a new collective bargaining agreement, which includes finalized protocols for both Phase 3 and Phase 4 of the return to play plan. Finally, the question marks were gone, and their schedule for the Stanley Cup Qualifier was set. On August 1st, they'll kick off their best-of-5 series against the New York Islanders in Toronto.
I think that's what we were hoping for all along. With all this uncertainty going on in the world, for us was the biggest thing is we wanted some dates, and obviously you hear things and there's rumors and whatnot. So, our team group chat was going off the walls for a little bit, trying to get answers, and we're kind of driving our PA reps, Mike Matheson and Colt City, were a little bit nuts there for a bit, but I'm sure they're happy that the dates are out now, and now everyone's ready to go, and you can kind of plan accordingly. We're playing in that next season now. We're playing for something. You play all season long to get a shot at the Stanley Cup, and we put ourselves in a position to be in that spot. So we're really excited for the challenge ahead.
I'm mic'd up. Woo! These drills, hey? Huh? At least you get to feel like a hockey player in this. Attack off the half wall. That's what we're doing now? It's so hard not shooting on a goalie. How about that pass I got? Like this. Dude, just lay it, leave it for me. Don't give me one of these.
With Phase 2 ending, Phase 3 will soon begin at the start of training camp. For the last few remaining Panthers still abroad, that means that it's time to head south.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, we had a good time, played some cards on the flight. The toughest thing was probably to figure out when we were going to leave, based off of, the playoffs and everything and the return to play. So, we decided on the date that we thought works best for everyone to get back and give ourselves a week to start skating, get ourselves ready before training camp. And obviously it was a fun time and nice to get back to your teammates for sure.
By teaming up to take a private jet rather than flying commercial, players avoided having to endure a mandatory 2-week quarantine upon their return to the Sunshine State. Instead, they only had to pass a few days of COVID-19 testing in order to be cleared to play.
We're still testing a couple times a week, and before you're able to get into the rinks, we had to do our testing, which is rightfully so. So it was took a couple days, and I think it's a great opportunity for us. Obviously, this probably won't happen again in our lives where there's this many teams being accepted into the playoffs, but everyone's pretty much back to square one. So I think speaking for myself, I'm sure everyone else in the same boat. We've had a couple months to prepare and get ourselves ready, get our bodies ready to play some good hockey.
While the Panthers fortunately have yet to have any players or staff members test positive for the coronavirus, some other teams around the league haven't been as fortunate. With training camps about to open, both the Montreal Canadiens and Pittsburgh Penguins are holding out multiple players, either due to positive tests for the coronavirus or for precautionary reasons. To get to the hub city healthy, the Panthers know the onus is on each individual to stay safe. After spending nearly 4 months at home, they only need to make it just a few more weeks.
I think so. I mean, especially, lately some of the spikes in cases, some of the daily spikes have been pretty high here in Florida in general. So I think there's kind of that thing, if someone does happen to pick it up out getting groceries or doing whatever, it's, you don't know how it's going to, kind of interact in a team setting and things like that. But I think guys are being pretty smart. I think guys understand that as much as the testing's there and that kind of stuff, if we're not smart and we're going and doing whatever, and we're away from the rink, it's not going to work. Some guys made a point to be like, hey, look, we got to be smart here. You can easily get it. It can easily be transferred amongst us, kind of thing. Like, don't add any unneeded risk in your daily lives. And I think guys kind of understood that was kind of, I don't want to say wake up call, but maybe a little bit of a wake up call to realize that it's possible and it happens. And if it does, you don't know how many guys it's also going to affect.
For the Panthers, the start of training camp also means the return of their coach. Unable to enter the Panthers' ice den during Phase 2, Joel Quenneville and his staff are back. Of course, like his players, Quenneville must also pass coronavirus testing before hitting the ice.
It's getting to be second nature. The first thing is when you're sitting in the room, when you walk into the room and having a meeting and you see everybody with a face mask on, is a whole different look that all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is the first. You capture that moment in your mind and it's like, wow, that certainly was a different look, and the compliancy across the board with the guys has been terrific, but it'll be something very unusual that we'll say that was pretty unique.
Preparing for his 19th postseason run as head coach, Quenneville doesn't waste any time in cranking up the intensity in his first week back on the job, including pitting his players against each other in an up-tempo intra-squad scrimmage on just the second day of camp. Coming off a lengthy pause, the future Hall of Fame coach said he was taken aback by the impressive pace the players displayed early on. Clearly, they'd put in the work during Phase 2.
Now, I was very surprised knowing that whether it was their conditioning, whether it was their pace, whether it was how fluid we were in practice, but it seemed like they had, they'd done a lot of commitment, be it not just on the ice, in the gym, like, and the staff outside of off the ice was, it's been really good. And that the commitment to do everything they can to get themselves ready and to be ready for it on the ice was noticeable. But that basically says that the leadership did a good job of pushing one another and making sure the guys were doing whatever they could to report ready to go. No drop off for me. It's just a matter of being comfortable with the pace and the consistency of lasting as long as you can to show that you're basically at the start of a season level or mid-season level.
With 118 playoff wins and 3 Stanley Cups as head coach on his resume, Quenneville's presence alone has the Panthers feeling like they're ready to take on the world.
He's won everywhere he went, so hopefully can bring that with us. And obviously we're going to be prepared. And at the end of the day, it's going to be us on the ice that's going to do the job. So I think we know he's going to be there. He's going to give us confidence, good system. We just got to do the job on the ice.
He obviously is a great coach. He knows what he's doing. He's been there before. He's won Stanley Cups. He's won on long runs, so he knows what's going to get us ready, and I think the guys are ready.
With 30 players in training camp, it's clear only a few roster spots are up for grabs. Happy with how the team looked during its final few games heading into the pause back in March, Quenneville isn't making too many changes to the team's lineup early on in camp. As the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, we've got a little continuity in the lines right now. It's something we've talked as we progressed throughout camp, that whether we want to make some changes, whether we want to make it still some battling for positions and some decision making. I know once you get in a short series that you don't have a lot of time to make decisions and give guys opportunities, and whether it's in between periods or in periods that you want to make adjustments with lines. And then in between games, for sure, you want to look at what gives you the best chance going forward. But I think that right now we felt very comfortable with the balance and the lines we exited with some pushes. You know, we have a couple of guys right now. You look at Sal, what he's done in camp, that he's certainly given us some things to think about. But I think that internal competition is still going to be in place till we finish camp, and then when we make our decisions going into it, you know, I don't see drastic changes, but I think still want to give guys hope and pushing one another that nobody's satisfied with where they're at, and everybody should be competing like we always do in our game.
For goaltender Chris Driedger, even just being on an NHL roster is something he likely couldn't have imagined less than a year ago. After spending 6 seasons toiling in the minors, the 26-year-old made his first NHL start of his career with the Panthers in November. Like something out of a movie, he stopped all 27 shots he faced that night, shutting out the Nashville Predators in an inspired 3-0 win at the BB&T Center.
You couldn't really write it up any better, to be honest. It was a perfect game to play as a goalie. You know, I remember afterwards, Q came in, he said this was our best defensive game all year, and I said, well, it's a good thing I got that stuff selfishly. So it was good. It was great. It was a great experience, and you know, it's pretty wild going in. It was my first NHL start in my 6th year pro, so it was very exciting. I'd been in a few in relief with Ottawa, but this is the first one. They gave me the heads up. Had a bunch of family and friends come down, so it was a really, really special moment. And, you know, to have that ending was pretty unbelievable. So.
Driedger, 3-0. Panthers win it.
You couldn't write the script any more perfect for that 25-year-old.
And I think Weeks was right there, and it was great. I was very nervous at times, and then, you know, I don't think that there's been a better feeling in the world than when that buzzer goes, and, you know, we've won 3-0, and then the rest of the guys coming out and see my family after. So it was a pretty special moment for me, and it couldn't have gone any better.
In addition to his unforgettable debut, Driedger picked up 7 wins for the Panthers over 12 appearances this season, including backstopping the team to victory in its final game before the pause, a 2-1 win against the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues on March 9th. And despite having to take the long road to the NHL, which included stops everywhere from Elmira to Ottawa, Driedger believes he wouldn't be where he is today without that journey.
You can talk to people that used to coach me or my teammates, but I definitely take things a little bit more seriously, or maybe not seriously is the word, but you know, I'm a better pro now than I was when I was younger. So you just sort of need to sort of realize what works and what doesn't. And you know, I always kind of thought, you know, I'm skilled, I can get by, and you know, if I don't need to work the hard for it, sometimes, you know, take a couple of drills off or whatever in practice. But turns out that's not how you get to the NHL, for me at least. So you know, when things were working out in Ottawa, I sort of changed my mindset and took a hard look in the mirror and sort of made some adjustments. And so I went into Springfield with a new start, a fresh start, and just kind of went from there.
Looking for his own fresh start, Sergey Bobrovsky already knows what it takes to win in the postseason. Capturing the Vezina Trophy as the NHL's top goaltender in 2013 and 2017, the 31-year-old veteran has proven himself to be an elite netminder for almost a decade. And even though his regular season didn't live up to expectations, none of that matters now.
So I did some workouts, did some training off ice, and just shut down, work like a little bit inside myself mentally and physically. So for me, it was good time for me to have that quarantine, to meet to get to know house better, to adjust and organize in the Florida life.
Prior to joining the Panthers on a 7-year contract this past summer, Bobrovsky took the hockey world by storm when he led the Columbus Blue Jackets to a stunning series sweep of the top-seeded Tampa Bay Lightning in the opening round of the 2019 Stanley Cup playoffs. If he can get back to that level, the stoic Russian knows the Panthers can make a deep run.
I would say it's the my game, my piece, but it's also the teamwork. You know, we have to work as a team. My job is to prepare and just give the guys the chance to win. They want to win, they're eager to win, and it's the teamwork and it's not the individuals.
Heading into the postseason, Quenneville said the crease belongs to Bobrovsky.
Yeah, well, I think that Bob had a really good approach. Him and Tals over the stretch there, whether they're reviewing games individually, his movements, his thinking and his thought process and his evaluation from his eyes and what's in front of him as well. One thing I stay away from when we're talking technicality with goaltenders and the mindset as well. I think they got a good rapport is trying to explain one another what they're seeing and how they can move forward. The one thing coming out of it, Tal said he was great throughout the whole process, eager to get back, eager to come back and help our group here. Patience is in the net is part of the thinking, and he's been really good right now in camp. So we're happy with his how he's prepared, how he's handled it. Seems like he's fresh, he's ready.
While the battle for starting goaltender has already been decided, a handful of rookies at the other positions have just 2 weeks to impress Quenneville if they hope to crack the lineup. Commonly referred to as black aces, a term derived from the idea of a team having an ace up its sleeve. This small but talented group includes defensemen Chase Prisky and Brady Keeper, as well as forwards Eetu Luosterainen and Owen Tippett. The 10th overall pick in the 2017 NHL Draft, Tippett spent 7 games with the Panthers during the 2017-18 season and has been working to get back there ever since.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, obviously, to be here and have experience, it goes a long way. I mean, for the future, I mean, anytime you get a chance to be a part of kind of a testing time, so whenever you get a part of something going into the playoffs, it's always special. Just trying to stay ready and take it all in as an experience, whether that happens that I do get into a game here or whether it's just to be along for the ride. I'm really grateful to be here.
Fresh off a career-best professional campaign in which he led Florida's AHL affiliate in goals and points.
The rebound was near the crease. Jeffrey to Tippett. He scored!
The fiery 21-year-old sniper feels he's ready to contribute with the Panthers.
I mean, being a young kid, 2.5 years ago, getting that experience, you can kind of gauge where your game was at then and where it's at now. And I think it helped me a lot. Just getting another pro season under my belt helped a lot. And I mean, just going from there, it's every little bit of experience you can get is going to help you in the long run.
Not ruling anything out, Quenneville says all of the team's rookies have a shot.
With the younger guys, you look at each case. I think Tippy, what he's going to turn out to be is a pretty good hockey player, and I think he's one of those guys that's going to be able to influence a game. And Luosterainen was a kid we picked up in that trade, and we feel that he's a young kid. He's 20 years old, wants the puck, sees the ice, got a bright future. That's good to see somebody new. Chase Prisky, a local kid that, we like what we saw and we feel that he can help us organizationally with the way he competes, the way he sees the back end, kind of the modern day defenseman. We were looking at Sorella. I can talk about him. I feel like he was part of the team at the end, pushing to be a regular. I haven't seen too many guys ever shoot a puck like him. So he's got some great ability in that area. But does some good things around the rink, and if he keeps improving away from the puck, finding that regular spot's going to be easy to put him in a place where he's going to make that line pretty effective. So I'm going on, and it can go on every single guy. We got about 15 guys that probably feel could play easily opening night. That depth's going to be available, and we're definitely going to be using it as the deeper you hope to get.
From rookies to regulars, the Panthers know they're going to need everyone pushing in the same direction in order to advance past the Islanders. For some of the team's longest tenured players, a sour taste still remains in their mouths from the last time they battled New York in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals back in 2016. Losing that series in 6 games, the Panthers haven't reached the playoffs since.
Of course, that's why everybody plays hockey, not just for the regular season. You want to make the playoffs. You want to play those big games. You want to have success in the big games and compete for the Stanley Cup. And that's the most fun. I haven't been to many of those games, but I remember those 6 games in the 2015-16 season. It was probably the best like experience I had in the hockey. Like you get to play playoffs, and that atmosphere and everything is just like unbelievable and unforgettable.
Still looking to establish themselves as perennial contenders, players believe it's only fitting that they'll have to go through a familiar foe like New York in order to do so. After all, although the coronavirus has forced them to adjust a lot of things, the end goal for the Panthers is exactly the same as it was when they took the ice 4 years ago.
It just feels different, obviously, like how it's happening, but it is. And we remember we lost in 2016, and I felt, you know, we should have probably won this series. I think could have went either way, and that's good that we have a redemption against them. So it's going to be, obviously, it's mostly the same. A lot of the guys that were there, you know, they're still there, and for sure we keep it in the back of our mind.
If they want to hoist the Stanley Cup, they'll have to get past the Islanders first.
Next time on Panthers Uncaged.
Well, we got a chance, and there's that excitement. You can just feel it at the rink. Everybody wants to get going, and there's obviously sacrifices to be made. So I'm gonna miss, you know, my wife, my dog, my daughter, obviously, but it's gonna be fun. Hopefully going on a run here.